year. I wonder where you are. And today, like I said on Business Hub, we're delving into a subsector of the real estate market in Nigeria. And what we'll be talking about basically is the facility management. And I'm sure you're wondering, facility management, what does that even mean? Well, not to worry, you need to come, sit in, and listen to get all the insight for those who don't really understand what it is. But yes, we're talking about facility management sector in Nigeria and how it is thriving, if it actually is. But I know it is. But hey, enough about me. Let me introduce you to my guest. My guest this evening is Tolu Alabi. She's the managing director, Organized Spaces by T. Good to have you, and such a pleasure.
Yeah. Hi. Thanks for having me here.
Absolute pleasure. And Lagos, as always, hey, you have your 2 cents you want to share, or you have questions you like to ask. What you can do is come through on WhatsApp. The number is 0809 4440981. And we will get the conversation rolling as well as get your thoughts out there. All right. Let's even get into anytime you hear facility manager, you're like, that's a whole lot. But yeah, can you paint a picture for us? What does facility management actually entail? What is it all about?
Okay. Okay, let me paint a picture for you. So, you go to the airport, you get into the airport, the air conditioning is working, the space is clean, the toilets are clean, the elevators are working, the escalators are working,
Hmm.
there's electricity and all of those things. There's a lot of, you see all the LED, TV
Right.
stations, everything that's giving you information. It's right there. I give you another example. You go to, say, a bank or a hospital, you go
Right.
in there and everything is working as it should with regards to the infrastructure. So, facility management is that engine that basically works behind the scenes to ensure that, all of those things are, working efficiently, effectively, and that the people that are in that space are able
Mm.
to do their jobs without, you know, any distraction. Basically, they work behind the scenes to ensure that infrastructure and everything is just, operating optimally. So that's basically what facility management is in a nutshell.
Awesome. Thank you so much for breaking it down in the simplest of ways and for that example, because someone would just be wondering, hey, is it not probably to just manage a house or manage the hotel? Most especially, most people just assume that it's all about managing hotels or spaces like that, but they don't know that it's like you explained start to finish, how everything is run. You think it
Yes.
runs on its own? No, it takes a facility manager to make sure that every little detail is up and working. Okay,
Absolutely.
now let's get into the sector in itself, right? I know that, as I say, growth when it comes to facility management is tied into real estate. So makes me wonder, mm, does that mean that unless we have more buildings come up before we can get better services from the facility manager, or how does that even work?
Okay, so I mean, real estate is a big part of the facility management industry, especially in Nigeria. I mean, I feel like when you say facility manager, you're really just thinking about your estate, because that is what is common now in our
Oh,
environment. But it's
okay.
it's way beyond that. There's a lot of construction,
Mm,
estates, new buildings, large, buildings, hotels, and all of that. And yes, facility management in that aspect is important for real estate. But it's not just about that. It's really just also ensuring that buildings that have been around, infrastructure that have been around, are maintained, and they can
Mm,
be around for much longer, that they can,
okay.
be functional, be sustainable, be efficient. I used the example of the airport earlier,
Right,
and it was
right.
it's it was intentional because
Intentional. Yeah.
yeah, because the airport has been around. I mean, especially that our Lagos International Airport has been
Oh,
around
yes.
for ages, for it to have been maintained over that period of time. There's a huge engine of facility management behind it. So it's basically just ensuring that, that those kind of infrastructure also are able to, be around for much longer. So it's not just real estate. There's the real estate aspect of it, which is,
Right, right.
what we are really getting into more in this environment. You find estates are coming up. You need people to manage
Mm-hmm,
the electricity, the water supply,
mm-hmm.
security. There's a lot of things that individuals are leaning away from. They don't want to manage those things by themselves anymore. They would prefer
Right,
to
right.
come in, and just have someone handle all of that, basically. So yes, there's that aspect with regards to real estate, but then there's also the aspect of buildings, and just ensuring that they're around and they're maintained over a long period of time. Yeah,
I like that because some people have said we don't have proper maintenance culture when it comes to anything we put up. Once it's there, it's there. We just let it, we just wallow in its state and until it rots and I've seen how certain things can just go from looking so beautiful to how dead in another second it can be. And I appreciate the fact that you even use something that's been here for the longest time that anyone can ever imagine. It's not
yeah,
something new. So you'd be like, oh, okay, something new. That's why. No, at least one or two people or one or two times as an individual, you've gone to the airport, you see how it works. It wasn't that way when you first ever went into the airport. So it just shows you that facility management is important. And it's not something you just want to, it's something you want to appreciate, by the way. So
absolutely. Yeah.
kudos to what you do and how much work is being put into it. I don't think you forget enough accolades. So I think I need to also put that out there.
Mhm.
Um, Now let's get into the tech side of things. I know that every day we see how things are being improved and technology, thank God for it, making our lives easier. You're where you are, I'm here. We're having a conversation, and that is owing to tech. So is technology also growing in your space? Is it growing in your field? And more so, if it is, can a virtual site visit or inspection replace a physical one? Because some people say they want to see the site in person. They want to go see what it is you're doing. Can that actually, is that something that can be replaced over time?
I mean, technology is the future. It can't
Of
be
course,
ignored in any industry. Any industry that is ignoring
ready to
technology
grow.
is really not ready, to move forward. And I think in this industry, I mean, there are tools that are coming up. There's AI
Mhm.
powered analytics. There's building information modeling. There are a lot of things that are helping. There are drones that are used for inspection. There,
Mhm.
all of those kind of things. I would imagine that if that would probably usually be the first point if you want to apply technology. When it comes to inspection, for instance, you can
Right,
have a remote inspection using some of these kind of technology before a physical inspection, especially if it's an area that is a bit far away and all of that. That can be helpful, right?
right.
But when it comes to, I would say that a hybrid situation is what we probably would see. I'll give an example. I mean, my organization is, we're into cleaning and all of that, post
Okay.
construction and all those kind of things.
Oh,
And
nice.
the thing you find is a lot of times when we do inspections, if we ask for maybe a video of the space or something, you might just find a corner, the video being recorded from a corner, or you find that there are
Ooh,
details that you would not be able to see until you go there physically. When you are there, then you understand, oh my goodness, there's this that we didn't pay attention to, prior. So by the time you get to site to work, you might not
Okay.
even be fully prepared because, you didn't know that there were certain things you ought to have prepared for. So I would say that when it comes to facility management, it's a hybrid situation. And I'm focusing only on, the inspection aspect of it. I mean, if you go into maintenance and all of that, for sure,
Mm.
technology, because of course, you can be talking about things like generators. There are a lot of engines in the process, and I'm sure that technology, um, when you talk about sustainability, that's what we're also looking at in the future.
Okay.
Technology is driving a lot of that. Gas powered generators and all of those
Mm.
things are things that will help with efficiency, save money in the long run, and all of that. So for sure, and I mean, it may cost more in the upfront, to
Hmm.
put that up, but on the longer term, you would get more value if that kind of what's it called, asset is put on a site. You know that you would be saving, using gas instead of maybe diesel. You would use for longer, burn fuel for longer instead of. So technology for sure,
Well.
but of course everything comes at a cost, and all of that. So I think a hybrid is what it is for sure. Yeah.
Mm. Okay. Good. 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 Uh, I like the fact that you said the hybrid because, some people don't trust. Some people have trust issues, especially as Nigerians.
Yes, I can
They,
imagine, of course.
oh my goodness! You tell me that piece of that land, that property you've got is how you say it is only for me to get there, and I'm like, nope, that's not what I asked for. So,
Yes, yes. And that's fair enough. So that's why it's important for you to still be able to go there, and see what
mm,
it really is. Yes.
or,
Yes.
unless you have great trust in that person, you have implicit trust in that process, that wouldn't be a problem. But has to be earned.
Mm. Yeah,
And
definitely.
that makes me I've heard that facility management is only for urban areas.
Mm.
Is there any way that could also, are there opportunities in rural areas? In my head, I kind of sense the answer to that. But really, let me not box myself in. Are rural areas also, do they have this in place? Will they also have this in place?
If I were to guess what your thinking is, you're thinking it's only in urban areas,
Only in
right?
over there.
Right, right. And well, look, it's easy to think that because, like I mentioned before,
Right.
when we think about facility management, first thoughts might be estates and all of that. And where do you find those kind of developments? Is
In
mostly
urban area.
urban areas.
Yeah.
But it's way beyond that. Governments are building hospitals, they're building the solar plants, they're building all of these things, and most of those kind of infrastructure are in rural areas. And to ensure that the most is gotten out of those kind of places, it's
Mhm.
important to have some kind of facility management on place, or on ground. And let me give you an even better picture of facility management. There you have a space, you have um water running in the bathrooms, you have sewage systems and all of that. You need a
Mhm.
plumber, right, to manage that.
Yes.
You
Yes.
have electricity, you might have a generator, you might even have power from, the mains. You need an electrician to manage that. You
Yes.
have security, you have people at the gates, people that
Mhm.
man coming in and going out of a certain space. You need security to manage that. You
Mhm.
have people that keep the environment clean and safe, because cleaning is not just about, taking away debris. It's also
Yes.
about safety. If certain things are in wrong locations, wrong places, it can lead to,
Lot of
devastating
harm.
outcomes.
Yes.
Exactly.
True.
So you have that. And so you have a group of, so, if you just think of one facility or one infrastructure, you can think about 30, 20 people that have to manage all of those things behind the scenes. So anywhere you have an investment or an infrastructure that is serving people and that you need
Mhm.
it to run, it doesn't matter whether it's urban or rural areas, you will need facility, especially if you want it to be efficient, and you want it to be there for a long time. So
Mm.
basically, it's not just for
Urban area.
certain, yeah, yeah, certain area.
I
Yeah.
would have just chucked it to that and say, oh, yeah, it's only for
Yeah,
urban areas. But
yeah,
thank you
yeah.
for also letting me know that even in the rural areas, they are also doing things. But yes, there, Lagos, let's take a quick breather. On the other side of this, we'll be talking more about Lagos and I don't know, is it only Lagos that has those opportunities? We'll find out on the other side of this quick breather. Don't move a muscle. Music. So we'll be back in a jiff. Just a minute. We're back in.
Okay, all right, no problem. Let's pause.
Honestly, I only thought 1% rural areas with facility managers. Oh,
It's
facility
everywhere.
management.
In
But my
fact,
mom went to, when I thought about that, it went to Olumorok recently because I've seen what was done. I'd wanted to go, but because it was being fixed, so I couldn't go. So, but now I've seen what they've done. The urge to go there right now is so high. So yeah.
absolutely. I was there last year, and I went with my children on a road trip. Hi guys, excuse me. And I went on, went on the train, and then we went
Oh,
on
nice.
the, so I took my children. And yes, you have a group of people that ensure that that place is running, and they've maintained it. It's really, really an interesting, place to visit. You should try to go, and yes, there's definitely an engine behind the scenes there that is ensuring that it's clean, that the tourist attractions are, managed.
Yeah.
Yes, and they have an art gallery and all of that. So, I mean, I don't know if people, maybe individuals, have taken up those responsibilities, but the
Okay.
fact is, it's there. Yeah, yeah. Mhm.
Oh, all right, let's go back in. All right, Lagos. Yes, 34 minutes gone past five. Yes, you still tuned in to Business Hub on Smooth 98.1. And my guest, who's talking about facility management, is in the person of Tolu Alabi. She is the managing director of Organized Spaces by T. And if you're just tuning in, well, you've missed quite a bit, I'll be honest, but it's don't fret, don't fret. It's still something you can still get a bit more information on, especially if you are thinking of getting into the space. And which brings me to um, Lagos. We know that anytime anybody's thinking of development, they're always looking at Lagos. Quick question. Are there are there other opportunities in other states?
I mean, of course, Lagos is a major hotspot, for facility management. We have it's a the country's largest city and economic hub. Lagos has a massive concentration of commercial real estate. Of course, we have the residential estates, the government buildings, industrial. There's a lot in Lagos, basically, and there's a lot of rapid growth, urbanization, and all of that in Lagos. However, there are other cities that this is also happening in. I would say Abuja, of course, there are a lot of
Mm-hmm.
government,
Mm-hmm.
infrastructure, a lot of embassies, commercial centers, in Abuja. You have Port Harcourt as well, which is, an oil and gas hub for Nigeria. And there are a lot of industrial and commercial facilities there. You have the neighboring states to Lagos, because you find that some of those states are using tourism. You and I during the break were talking about Abeokuta,
Yes.
Olumo Rock. That's definitely a tourist attraction, and there are a lot of other states like that. And to get those kind of parks and estates and places running, there is an engine behind it that ensures that it's
Mm-hmm.
clean, it's secure, and all of that. Kaduna. I understand that there are two states in Nigeria that have structure where the government actually is involved in managing and ensuring their own infrastructure. They have a facilities management structure. Kaduna and
Okay.
Lagos State, are there. So yeah, I mean there are opportunities in other states aside from Lagos, and like I've said, a number of times. Anywhere you have something that you want to sustain, an infrastructure that you want to ensure is running effectively, you do need facilities management, there. So yeah, it's not just Lagos. Hi, are you there? Can you hear me?
Also get into the space to get licensed to become a facility manager.
Sorry, I think I broke off a little bit.
Okay. All
Yes,
right.
yes.
Okay. So I was trying to get your thoughts on licensing for anyone who wants to get into the space. How do they go about it? Is it that I have to go back to school? Is there an exam I have to pass? What exactly? What's the process like?
Well, I mean, it's not a regulated, it's not really a regulated industry in Nigeria just yet. I don't, there's not real licensing per se, but there are associations that exist,
Mm,
where, I mean, once people are in that associations, it basically enhances credibility, for the operators. And, to learn anything, I mean, working with people that have been in the space for a while, you get the exposure, you learn, the nitty-gritty of that space. And then, in the process, there's some kind of qualification, I would say, even though not quite formal, that would come out of it. But,
mm,
there are like two major international associations, and then there's a local one. There's the Facility Management Association of Nigeria, who like basically set standards, and they offer certifications and trainings and all of that, and
mhm,
advocacy. There's the International Facility Management Association as well, and then there's a local one as well. And like I mentioned before, um, there are agencies locally.
okay.
The government has set up, one or two within the ministries as well. I'd say maybe sectors, that allows them to also manage their own infrastructure that they've had for a
Oh,
long time. Yeah.
right,
So
right.
yeah. So while there's no regulation per se, it's
Mm,
important to get into those kind of communities, to really just know how it operates.
mm. All right. That is actually good stuff. So you want to also do your homework if that's the field you want to play in or you want to be in. So it's not just sit back and think, okay, I've heard this. If you need it, you know what to do and you know how to go about it. Now with certain businesses or certain jobs, you find that there are peak periods and off-peak periods. Is there a is there an on period and off-peak period where your job is concerned?
So, with regards to anything that has to do with buildings and infrastructure,
Mhm.
there are a number of, I mean, there's no on and off
Down.
periods per se,
Okay.
right? You have
Okay.
to
Okay.
continue, it's a continuous thing,
Mm,
because maintenance is continuous. However, I mean, when it comes to certain aspects, we have rainy season in Nigeria, for instance. If you were to be managing a place that, with regards to buildings, of course, you know that in the rainy seasons, there's a downtime on that. So anything that has to do with the external and all of those things are probably done less.
Mm,
in the rainy season. All other things when it comes to, managing, electricity, water, all of that, it's round the clock. You don't want to say because of any season, something is down and all of that. So there's really no timing, but,
okay.
it's just to also
Oh, hi, Tolu. Are you there? Mm. Now at the tail end is when the gremlins want to strike. Okay, so hopefully, Tolu will be able to rejoin. I'm not sure what exactly. Hi, Tolu, if you can hear me, can you try to rejoin the conversation? I'm not sure what exactly, why it's gone. Okay. All right, Lagos. Let's hope she's able to reach. Okay, awesome stuff. Yeah, the gremlin at the last minute was trying to just get
I'm
get
so
out your
sorry. Technology
no no
does fail sometimes, yeah?
ah the downsides. But
Yeah.
yes, please go ahead. You were talking about that up well down
Yeah.
not necessarily
The
downtime, but how it works basically with seasons and all
Yes, I
that.
was saying that, there aren't any, there's no real season per se, right, for facility management. But when it comes to, it depends on the kind of infrastructure you're managing. If you're looking at, anything that, is on the outside, I'll say painting, for instance. If you had to repaint, you wouldn't repaint in the rainy season, right?
Definitely
Exactly.
not.
If you had to do any maintenance work that is on the outside, say sewage and all of those kind of things, you would, do it mostly in the dry season.
True.
But if you had to do, but any other thing, because like I said, it's the engine that ensures that everything is consistently working. Consistency is very key. So I mean, ensuring you have electricity every day, you have water every day, your air conditioning system is working every day. And when we're talking about air conditioning, imagine big spaces where you don't actually see the ACs, but the air is cool. They have those big
Honestly,
back, yeah, systems. They have to be running all the time. It doesn't matter what weather you are in, those kind of
it's
things
constantly
have to,
working.
yeah. So it's there's no real peak on and off season
Okay.
for it. It's just a constant work. Yeah.
Mm. And that definitely puts a it's you could sometimes be in a tight corner because your schedule could just be so packed you'd never even have time. You're just like, okay, I have to make sure that everything is working at the same
Yes.
time. So that could be a whole lot. But hey, before I let you go, I definitely want to know what's your outlook for facility management. Maybe I would say for Lagos. Let me streamline it to Lagos. Um, to close out the year. What would you say it's going to be looking like?
Lagos is, like I said before, it's a huge hub. It's the economic hub. Lagos is there, constructions every day, everywhere. Commercial, buildings, organizations are coming to Lagos, international, local. So there's high demand for it. It's not
Mm,
something that we can see that would, go down anytime soon. There's huge opportunity. And what I also see is, when it comes to, I mean, that's on the commercial side. When it comes to the residential side and the parts where individuals, you find that even mini estates, are having one person running, their facility, because people don't want to have the headache of, managing every little thing. They want someone to be in charge of it, and they're willing to pay, as long as the service is good, it's efficient. I mean, the only challenge that I would say is the fact that the things that are required, e.g., with regards to electricity, running generator, diesel, and all of that, the prices may go up and down, and because of that, you find that that's where people have issues. There's trust issues, like you mentioned. But the fact
Mm,
is, the those kind of things can be unpredictable, right? And so the facility manager is usually in a tight
right.
position to ensuring that they're not losing out, but they're also not too expensive. And they're able to be consistent in providing the service that they've promised. But aside from those kind of challenges, I think people are still willing. They would pay for it. That to take that headache off them and just be able to enjoy all the services. So yes, there's huge opportunity there. You know.
Mm, I like that. Honestly, anyone who would take every of the stress off of me would be a
Yeah.
lifesaver right now. So yeah, I would definitely get one if I needed, if I want to have a sane life. But oh, I want to first say very big thank you for making out time to share
Thank
all
you
this
so much for having.
insight. More so, how can Lagos reach out to you for those who need your services? What are the social media platforms that they can, come out, search, and figure out what it is you do and all that good stuff?
Okay, so we are on, for now, one aspect of facilities management. We do cleaning, janitorial, we do facade cleaning, we do post construction, and basically, our job is to ensure that your environment is what you need it to be, basically,
Right,
at any
right.
point in time, especially for commercial spaces. And we are on Instagram at Organized Spaces by T. Yeah, and we can be reached, and we can share our phone number as well. Where you can reach us on. We can put that out to Smooth FM. But yeah, that's basically right now Instagram. You can surely reach us on there.
All right. Thank you so much once again. And Lagos, I'm sure you need help. So, help is just a click away. So it is just a click away. Cisco, I agree with you. Yes, no one likes stress.
Yeah.
Absolutely no one. So I'm
No.
with you on this one. All right, Lagos. On the other side is more music, but you know what to do. Don't move a muscle. Stay tuned to Smooth 98.1. For everything business. Thank you once again. It was
Thank
absolutely a
you.